So we've got these two celebrity limits here, and I want to show you how we can use these limits to evaluate some more complex ones. Now I want to focus on this one first. The limit as x goes to 0 of sine x over x equals 1. So let's suppose that instead of this, sine x over x, we have a limit that looks like this. The limit as x goes to 0 of sine x over, let's say 5x. Now that's certainly not going to be equal to 1. It's different. Notice it looks a lot like this one, but it's different because we've got sine x over 5x, not sine x over x. Well, one of the things you can remember is that I can just factor out that 1/5. That's one of the properties of limits, that we can factor out the constant. So I've got the limit as x goes to 0 of sine x over x. See? So now, obviously, this is going to be 1/5 times 1. See? Because this limit right here is 1. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get it in the form. You know, we're thinking, okay, I need to make this somehow look like this one. I need to be able to utilize this. Well, that was a simple task here. All we needed to do was factor out the 1/5. Now let's suppose we've got one that looks like this. Let's suppose that the limit as x goes to 0 of sine. Now we've got a 5x up here. Okay. So how do we deal with that? Well, the thing about the limit, the thing about this limit here is that it doesn't matter that this is x and this is x. This could be 5x and this could be 5x. As long as what's inside here in the trig function is the same as what's down here. So this could be 7x as long as this is 7x, and that limit would still be 1. There's nothing special about the variable we choose here. So I've got a sine 5x over x. So what I need a 5x down here. Well, I'll just multiply the top and the bottom by 5. And that'll do the trick. So I've got 5 sine 5x over 5x. So I just multiply the top and the bottom by 5. That doesn't hurt anything. And then I can factor out this 5 up top. And now dig what I have. I have the limit as x goes to 0 of sine 5x over 5x. Well, this limit here is 1. So what I've got now is I've got 5 times 1, which is 5. So that limit is 5. So notice, this limit up here was 1/5. This limit down here was 5. Now let's suppose that I've got kind of a combination here. Let's suppose I've got the limit as x goes to 0 of sine of 3x over, let's say, 7x, something like that. Now that's, that's more complicated than what we've had. So let's see what we might do there. Now, first of all, I'm going to factor out this 7, 1/7. Going to get that out. See? So I've got 1/7, the limit as x goes to 0 of sine 3x over x. Okay? Now, here's what else I want. I've got the 1/7 out there. That's good. Now, I want a 3x here, so I'm just going to multiply the top and the bottom by 3. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put the 3 on the outside here. And now I've got sine 3x over 3x. Well, that's what I wanted. Okay, I got the same thing here as I do down here. Okay, well, then we know that this limit here is 1. So this is 3/7 times 1, and that's my limit, 3/7. Now notice the cool thing is, you notice that this was sine 3x over 7x. In general, we could say this. We could say the limit as x goes to 0 of sine ax over bx is just going to be a over b. That's something we can take note of, and I've kind of showed it here. I could be more general and use a and b and show that this is true, but this is something that we can keep in mind. It's maybe a quick way that we can tackle limits like this one. Okay, so there you see just different ways that we can use this. Well, there's also this limit up here. So let's think about some limits that involve the 1 minus cosine. So let's suppose that we've got one like this. Let's suppose that we've got the limit as x goes to 0, okay, of, let's say sine x, and then maybe 1 minus cosine x, all over 2x squared. Like that. Let's suppose we've got one like that. Okay, so here's what we need to do. First of all, we recognize the 1 minus cosine x over x, and we know we've got sine x over x. We know we need to use those two limits. Well, I've kind of got them here, right? Because notice I've got an x squared on the bottom, and I could write this way. I could say, okay, I'm going to group things together. I've got the limit as x goes to 0 of sine x over 2x. And that takes care of sine x over 2x, but I've still got an x power. And I'm going to put that over here. The limit as x goes to 0 of 1 minus cosine x over x. Now notice I got everything separated out here. I've got this limit, sine x over 2x, times the limit of 1 minus cosine x over x. Well, we don't really need to go much further because we know this limit right here is going to be 1/2. But this limit's going to be 0, so what we've got here is we've got the limit to be 0. So this limit right here is going to be 0. But when it comes, a lot of times we encounter trig functions, in a limit, and it's going to be helpful to us to be familiar with these two basic limits right here, these two celebrity limits, because then we can take something that looks like this, and then we can put it in a form where it's just a matter of understanding these limits right here.